brother. I spoke with Mrinal about education in India, and he referred me to you as the Chancellor of Gurukul here. So would you answer a few of my questions, please?
Yes, please.
I'm very curious about neo-humanistic education. What is it?
Well, neo-humanist education is based on the philosophy of neo-humanism. Humanism means love for other human beings. But neo-humanism means when the love of human heart extends to embrace the entire living and even the so-called non-living world, then that approach of life is neo-humanism. For instance, we think that the things which are inanimate, they are not so important. People who have life are more important. But can the body exist without salt, which is something inanimate, or oxygen, or water? So everything in this creation, whether animate or inanimate, has life force in it. So when you begin to embrace the whole creation as the embodiment of divine consciousness and treat it accordingly, that is the idea of neo-humanism. So the most essential element in neo-humanism is the tenderness, the affection, and the universal love. If that is not present, we cannot build a society. We can build different institutions, but they are running against each other. But we are not able to create a society where people care for one another, or in which everybody's existential value as well as utility value is respected. So neo-humanist education is an approach to education where the natural sciences, the social sciences, the arts, the aesthetics, and the spirituality are integrated as one whole.
Wow.
So that's the speciality of neo-humanist education. It's an integrated approach to education. In this creation is of, we call Jad Jagat, which means the manifested universe. Which we can touch, we can taste, we can experience with our senses, we react with our motor and sensory organs. But then there is a dimension of existence which we cannot see. The mind we cannot see. The power of the subtle planes of existence, they are beyond our vision. But when we develop our mind, then we can fathom the subtler aspects of life, the subtler parts of existence. That is called Suksham Jagat. So there is Jad Jagat, which is the material world, and there is the Suksham Jagat, which is the subtle world, the astral world. And then there is something beyond that, that is the Karan Jagat, the causal world, from where everything comes. So if our way of life is not integrated, or is not integrating all the three levels of existence, the material existence, the psychic, subtle existence, and the transcendental reality. Until that happens, we cannot have a complete life. So education system also has to integrate the higher consciousness in its mundane, transmission of information or cultivation of knowledge. And the inspiration comes from the higher world, from the subtle world, from the causal world. So that's why we are paying attention on spirituality as the foundation of neo-humanist education.
Okay, Dada, and my next question is why NHE is the demand of society?
Well, in today's world, we have so many problems which we are not able to solve. And it is because that we are not, for example, just to take the case of the human body. We have one human body, but we have different systems of medicine which treat the human body. But we have not yet developed a comprehensive model of the human body which will show the limits and efficacy of different healing traditions. We have Ayurveda, we have naturopathy, we have acupuncture, we have allopathy and homeopathy and so many different systems. And they have their own way of looking at the body And so in some situations one is effective, in another situations another is effective. But actually we have not yet been able to develop a comprehensive model of the human body which will show the limits and efficacy of different healing traditions. So there are gaps in knowledge. We reach to a point where we find that we don't have the answer how to move forward. So Shri Prabhat Ranjan Sarkar, he gave a certain seminal ideas which he said are essential for taking the human society forward. For one example he said is, we need to have a transdisciplinary approach to knowledge. That, what you consider as only a material problem may be a psychic problem. What we consider to be a psychic problem may be a spiritual problem. And so there is interrelationships. So he gave the concept of microvita. He says that even what we call an atom is not something, which is accidental or which is just moving without any purpose. He says every atom contains millions of living organisms which he called microvita, or in singular microvita. So only when we are able to go even beyond the quantum understanding into the microvita understanding of the human body, then we'll be able to see how the different systems of medicine, they are integrated, they are working on a submolecular level. And that's why we were not able to understand why homeopathy is working or why Ayurveda is working. So if we want to take the sciences forward, we will have to also do further research on microvita, or we have to do further research in the field of arts and aesthetics, because the purpose of life is to bring joy and happiness all around. Human beings, all human beings, they want happiness.
Yeah, that's true.
But the problem, there's nothing wrong in that. It is integrated into our biosystem. But if we pursue pleasure, then it leads also to addiction. So the more pleasures you want, the more addiction you get. So there has to be a science of yoga which will show us the path of restraint. How to have pleasure but not be addicted. How to get happiness, but the happiness does not bind us, does not limit us. Rather we can spread the wealth. Because why most people accumulate wealth? One of the biggest problems in human society today is concentration of economic wealth. There are few people who are billionaires, and then there are millions of people who are just striving for mere existence. It is a psychic disease, because people think that to get happiness, I need to get more money, more wealth. And the more you accumulate, the more you become dependent on material world. So we need an approach to life which is liberating. And liberation comes from sharing, from compassion, from kindness, from so spreading the things which will expand the mind. It's called the vistara, the expansion of mind. That is knowledge. So that approach to life is the new humanistic approach to life.
Okay, Dada. So what are the practical approaches and methodologies to implement this philosophy into existing educational system?
It is, the key is our teachers. First, the teachers have to embody those new humanistic values. Then they are able to transmit them to the children and different ages. So from the kindergarten itself, we have introduced the ecological dimension. The knowledge of the plants, the herbs, the interaction with nature, understanding the potentialities of different minerals and different things which are there in nature. So it has to be cultivated from the early childhood. People learn through stories. So we have to bring in the approach of education which will be based on drama, based on storytelling, based on songs, based on music, on arts. So, there are three aspects. One is called understanding what is what. For that we need a scientific approach, scientific temper. Then we have how. In that we require arts, aesthetics, music, dance, drama. These have to be integrated into the to transmit, this worldly knowledge. And then why? It is because we want to attain, total freedom. For example, in every society we want everybody should be free. But freedom does not come unless there is a balance of individual liberty and collective interest. So to have true freedom, we require not only to respect our freedom, but also to respect others' freedom. So that is, similarly, we want happiness, so we need an ideal lifestyle. So there must be changes in our lifestyle which will keep us good health, good body, good mind, sound mind, expansive mind, magnanimity of mind, the different qualities which will make us more human and transhuman, and that's so to get the true happiness. Then we want abundance, prosperity. The more we align ourselves with nature, the more we will get abundance. Because in nature there is abundance. You plant one seed, you get 100 seeds. So the more the whole society, is adjusted, is in alignment with the natural laws, with the needs of the nature, the more we can have prosperity in the society. Similarly, we want progress, so therefore we must explore new and new scientific and rational ways of dealing with every subject. Management of change is part of progress and moving forward. That is the progress. And finally, we need justice, we need accountability. Unless we can provide for the needs of everybody. So in order to create this balanced society, we call the society of Prama. We need Prama Samriddhi, Prama Riddhi and Prama Siddhi. That means Prama Samriddhi means we need to have balance in the mundane sphere. That means we must first ensure that there is proper understanding of the needs of everybody. Living beings, non-living beings, everybody needs has to be understood. Assessment of needs. Secondly, we need availability of goods and services which will provide for those needs. And third, we need proper purchasing power. If people don't have the money, if people don't have the resources, they cannot fulfill their needs. The things are there, but the needs do not get translated into demand. And when the supply is not there, then demand and supply cannot come together, you don't have an economy. So if you want to create a Prama in the economic sphere, then you have to respect all the three aspects. These are the three, you can say, the pillars of economic, of a nation. So that's why we have a theory of PROUD, Progressive Utilization Theory, which says that we must bring about this economic democracy or self-reliance in every village, in every area, utilizing solar energy, renewable energy, and all the different systems. Similarly, we need also balance in the psychic sphere. So we need to have awareness, we need to have proper attitudes, and we need to have a lifestyle, which will reflect that subtle understanding of creation. And similarly, we need also the spiritual balance, and that means the sadhana, seva, and samarpan, surrender. That brings the balance in the spiritual sphere.
So Dada, how much are we prepared and how much time will it take to come into practice?
Well, it is, I think the nature is forcing us to change. You see how this coronavirus has brought the lockdown in the whole world, and it has made us to reflect as to, we were moving, everybody's moving, but where they are moving, we do not know. We are facing, ecological catastrophes and the resource depletions, and people are not happy in their homes, they are not happy, within themselves. So I think it is an opportunity for the entire human society and our educational systems to reflect as to what we want from life. We are not here forever. Everybody comes and they live for 100 years, 120 years or so. So what is the right way to live in this world? And how to, so what kind of education do we need to be able to live peacefully and happily, with the potentialities of nature? So that's why I think we need a new approach to life and new approach to education, which is not only transmission of information. Because information is too much. But out of the information we need to extract knowledge. But today there is abundance of knowledge also, and we need wisdom. So we need wisdom-based education. And wisdom can only be transmitted if it is internalized, when the knowledge is internalized and put into practice in your own life. So unless there is a lifestyle change, education has to be transformative. It is not only just filling up your head with lot of information or with lot of skills, with lot of knowledge, but it is the cultivation of those values which will create, which will help one another to live happily, joyfully, blissfully, in good health and in harmony with nature. So I think opportunity is there, but we need more and more people, especially the young people, to embrace these values. So we have about 1,200 schools all over the world. We have maybe 40,000-50,000 children who are being educated in this new humanistic values. And we are using yoga, we are using meditation, we are using vegetarianism or sentient diet, we are using the different modalities of music therapy. We call it Prabhat Sangeet, and we're using the power of the mantra, and at the same time we are also integrating the scientific temper and the sense of history. Is very important, because it's not only unless we can look back in history and look back what we did wrong, and so that we should not repeat it, and what kind of society do we want to create. So the human mind has different layers. We call them koshas. The body is called the Annamaya kosha. Then there is the Kamaya kosha, which is the conscious mind. Manomaya kosha, which is the thinking mind. Then Atimanas kosha is where the seed of our reactive momenta are there. It is the invisible mind, And then beyond is the Jnanamaya kosha, which is the sense of knowledge of past, present and future is there. And Hiranyamaya kosha, which is the transcendental reality. So our education system, humanist education, is transdisciplinary, it is transcendental, and it is transformative. And transformative element is the most important. So that's why we need the new humanism to be embraced by the teachers, and also it needs to be cultivated to the parents and in the schools, among the children. And the sooner we do, the sooner we will be able to create a new humanist society. And I think the time has come. And even the government, for instance, in India, they want now compulsory yoga in all the schools. But yoga are not only just physical exercises, but the values of yoga, which is the principles of ethics, of non-violence, of peace, of cleanliness, of restraint over temper and behavior. There is this ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, parigraha, shaucha, santosha, tapa, swadhyaya, pranidhana. These are the foundations of any civilization. This is the Gurukul system was based on the understanding that there are two types of knowledge, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Aparavidya is the worldly knowledge, like physics, chemistry, mathematics, astrology, astronomy. These are Aparavidya. And Paravidya is intuitional knowledge, transcendental knowledge. And Aparavidya should be more than Paravidya. Then you create a spiritually based civilization. So today, if you want to create a new humanist civilization, then we have three elements, which are guiding the new humanistic, one is, as I mentioned, sciences, another is the arts, and the third is the spirituality. And in the sciences, we also integrate ecology. So if we can integrate all these and to create a balanced individuals, then we can create a balanced society. So balanced society means balanced individuals. Balanced individual means the system has to be also organized in such a way that it maintains self-sufficiency and self-reliance in every district, in every country all over the world. So our approach is cosmopolitan, is global, is universal, but our localized, of course, activities are localized and dealing with creating economic self-sufficiency at the local level. So this is a long journey, but a journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with a single step. So that's what we have taken. And Anandnagar here, where we are sitting here, it is our headquarters for our new humanist education movement for the whole world. And from here We have planted more than 1 million trees here, and we are just going to create one herbarium, very nearby. And the idea is that we should, create happy individuals, create an environment where anybody who comes. In this coronavirus, we have not even felt. There is no lockdown here. Everybody is moving freely, is doing everything, and there is no even signs. It is like completely green zone.
Yeah, it's like another planet.
It's another planet. I was in Calcutta, in Howrah, for 2 months. I was in lockdown situation. You can't even go on the street. And here it's like heaven. So I feel that this type of environment has to be created in every country, in every area of the world. And that's one of our plans and programs. And we hope that we can, the sooner, more people join us, the more we can create. And it requires effort, but we'll achieve. Sure.
We'll do our best. Thank you, Dada.